All right. Appreciate Shenanigans. Finally, one half of the hosts of this podcast finished watching the documentary. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time to break down the legend, the tale, the tragedy of Roy Johnson and Bishop Sycamore. Wow. Everett. Let's just say the documentary started off lighthearted and a little bit just funny how this man would just be such a hypocrite, say one thing, and then
it was how narcissistic he is.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it was.
I say my favorite quotes because it was just so polarizing to hear him say, but when he started off and he was talking about like having players who were 19 or 20 from JUCO playing in high school, and he was like, is there any rule book saying that you can't have 20-year-olds playing high school football? Please show me that rule book. I've never seen it. And then literally the second after he says that, it right to the handbook in the rule that says once you turn 19 years old, you are not eligible to play.
No, that was probably the best part of the whole thing.
I also loved, they immediately asked him after, like, well, like, you're a member of, like, what was it called? OSHA? Ohio High School Athletic, the acronym. They're like, well, you were part of OSHA. He's like, I hate OSHA. I never did anything with them.
They're like the most corrupt, the most corrupt organization
Immediately after he says that, they show his signature on a document saying that we will participate with OSHA rules and like guidelines. So like literally just lying. And then afterwards, he followed that up with, I'm the most honest liar I know. If I'm lying, I would tell you. And then he just smiled. I started realizing that every time he smiled, he was just clearly lying, like making a massive lie. But this is the other thing that I just want to say, like the fact that he was able to just get on ESPN and stuff. What does that say about like high school football governing bodies?
I don't like.
There's probably maybe not another Bishop Sycamore, but like personally, I've played in a high school football game. It was freshman football, and the people we're playing against, they called down their varsity team as like a warm-up scrimmage the day before the varsity game against us. That probably broke CIF rules. Probably, I cannot confirm that it did. But
like, okay, there's one thing about like calling your varsity team down. Who, I mean, they have bodies of men, but they're still like 16. All right. These are, at least
they were still high school.
These are people with bodies of men who are also men. So,
well, now also it touched me a little bit differently watching IMG. Okay, bad choice of words there. I was way more interested watching Bishop Sycamore versus IMG because Carnell Tate, Ohio State commit, was they already scored like
which I didn't actually know. I didn't process that was the case until yesterday, and I hear Carnell Tate just absolutely shitting on them. I was like, wait a second, that is the Carnell Tate.
Yeah, I mean the thing though about like that Bishop's, like they obviously like, I mean they had 20-year-olds on the team, like they obviously had some big boys, but like the corners actually did look like they were JV football players. Like the corners did look small. Like Carnell Tate actually looked like he was playing against a middle schooler in those clips.
What I do wonder is if there was like a player or two who actually looked kind of nice.
Well, I thought they said they had like, oh no, it was, they lied about the guy. I thought it was like one guy they said like actually went on to like play D1. That definitely probably wasn't true. But I mean, Roy Johnson, the man, the myth, the legend. As the documentary went on, like, I didn't think it could get progressively worse throughout the whole thing, but like, oh my God, every 5 minutes, just a new Woj bomb of information comes out. Right now, I can't tell if like aliens are about to abduct you or something. Like, why are you taking the headphones out? Like, what's going on?
Because I think one of my,
do you get swatted? Like what?
I think one of my housemates are on the phone, but like I can hear it through my door. And by the way, the mic works. Like I have like superhuman hearing through the microphone, so I can't tell if the mic's picking it up or like.
I personally am not hearing any chatter about whatever your roommate has going on, but.
Well, that's a plus.
We'll leave it at that. I just want to ask you though, what did you think about the Bishop Sycamore documentary? you are just around actual college athletes. Like, could you imagine any of the Tulane players just going down for a high school game right now? Like,
it's just like I feel bad for the players because like
I felt
they got
so bad.
hosed. Absolutely.
Well,
like
when he did the credit fraud, made them sign their social security, took out literally $20,000.
Okay, not just that.
I was like, what the fuck?
Not just
you're
that.
Helping the kids. What?
But also not just that, but also literally like they never completed their high school transcripts, which is a major part of the reason why they were like, okay, it's going to be like IMG. I can get my high school diploma.
Like the quarterback was
which
like, I had
which by the way
left. Like,
by the way,
couldn't get him.
I guess Roy Johnson didn't process this part. But in order for you to have players go to college to D1, they have to have a high school diploma. So minor oversight on his behalf.
I think that's like the first step to go to college.
At minimum.
I could be wrong, but like I think.
That's one. Two, just the playing time. Like these guys, they didn't have the proper playing schedule. They didn't have the proper
sharing was just
coaches, like, helmet sharing. Dude, all of them are gonna have CTE
for the IMG game. Like,
they didn't have no athletic trainers, like nothing.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like honestly, like truly like awful. Like my the football team, we had no support. Like
the reporter guy was like, yeah, it wasn't considered illegal because no one thought that someone was stupid enough to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Like when that reporter was like phrasing, he's like, well, yeah, there's no rule saying you can't bring down college kids to play in high school football because that's so just ridiculous. You feel like you wouldn't need to make a law like that should just be a given. But hey, for Roy Johnson, it wasn't. Okay, he knows
also the other Bishop Sycamore coach who they had in the interview, and they ended with him and Roy together, and that guy was just kind of sitting there like, dude, so bad for it. He's just like, he's probably learning about everything the same time that they're asking Roy these questions, and that dude's like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Yeah, I mean, it did seem like Roy had answers prepared, like he was expecting them to dig up some stuff, but like at the end when they showed his like players' thoughts, like he was just so caught off guard that he was like, we got to take a timeout, like take a break. And that was like the only moment where I saw Roy Johnson was like, oh shit, that's the one time that he actually got rattled throughout this. Like every other thing he assumed they would bring up, that though he did not expect. And like that,
whenever they would be brought up, he would be like, what lawsuits? What allegations? What are you talking about? I've never heard of it.
Well, how many did you find? And he's like, well, I want you to tell me how many. He's like, I don't recall having any. He's like, we counted over 30. He's like, I don't remember them. You'd have to show me each 30 lawsuit individually, and maybe I'll remember. It was like, dude, come on. Like, if you follow up the question of how many lawsuits you have with, well, how many did you find? You're clearly admitting that you have.
You have some. What I do want to say is that other coach too, by the way, when they introduced him, he goes fist to the camera with a Bishop Sycamore championship ring. So what championship did they spend some of the students' loans on him getting a ring? Like, why does he have a ring and Roy Johnson doesn't have it? Like, that confused me. But the one thing that I'll give Bishop Sycamore props to, and this is the only thing,
I'm interested.
They got a nice ass logo.
I'll be honest. I did think the jerseys looked nice.
That they had a nice logo. All right. I respect the logo. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, do you think he had Bishop Sycamore BS high school in mind when he made it, or was he not?
I'm kind of, you know, when you got the cops and criminals, like the criminals are always like toying with the cops the whole time. They're like leaving little clues. What if Roy Johnson the whole time was just like, all right, I know this is bullshit. So,
no, like literally, the dude's
Bishop,
crazy.
Okay, Bishop Sycamore, and Bishop too being like the bishop on chess, like.
Well, that's a whole nother connection that wasn't even going there. But wow, he's really, really
digging deep.
Roy Johnson could have been, there could have been a part of his brain that was a little clever, a little. Well,
maybe a little bit.
It was a little clever. He was able to get that team on ESPN, so clearly he was clever. But yeah, I mean, it was very funny though hearing that they were no other Ohio high school teams accepted that game. Like, I was like, really? That seems just strange to me. Like, I highly doubt that. That just seems really strange that BS High was the only Ohio high school that said we'll take on IMG. That's just a little weird to me. I don't know. Maybe that is true. I don't know. But considering Roy Johnson lied about everything else, I'm gonna guess he probably lied about that, saying we're the only team that said we'll do it. So yeah. Anyway. Yeah, way better than the Florida Doc. I mean, like, Florida Doc was a fluff piece. You know, they didn't go into anything actually big there, but that they did everything. So yeah. You got anything else on BS High? I mean, I know you're a jersey owner.
I am a
buy their merch.
journey.
You contributed to that shit.
I did not buy it from them.
It was active.
I bought it from a jersey company, custom jersey company that had. I was like, all right, it's kind of clean. But
I just want to say that, like, IMG consistently blows out Destroy's team. It was weird that it was funny that was the only one that actually got mentioned. Like, I remember hearing Bishop Sycamore first time.
Oh, don't forget that Bishop Sycamore also scheduled a game 2 days before playing IMG.
That was truly heinous. That was truly just
and they're wondering why they had like 5 guys tear the ACL in one game.
That made me feel really bad when I saw that. But yeah, okay. Enough of BS High. Enough of that BS. All right. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. Today it is episode 148. NFL rosters have been set. Jonathan Taylor and more so Jim Irsay and the Colts absolutely broke my heart yesterday. Mookie Betts now has a personal record of his. And Kyle McCord's the starter for Ohio State. And Ohio State fans are having a civil war right now.
The Angels may have taken over the Oakland A's for the worst run team in sports.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we gotta dive into the Angels a little bit, but okay. Let's start off with that.
Start off with the MLB. There's not that much, but there are 2 very notable things both occurring in Los Angeles right now.
Yeah. So first, Mookie MVP run right now, currently the favorite to win NL MVP. After last night, Mookie now has 36 home runs this season. That's the most home runs he's hit in a single season, and it's not even September yet. So Mookie, you think he can get 4 more home runs over the next 30 days?
Yeah.
Get to 40?
Yeah. He might get it. He might get it over the next week and a half.
Yeah. So yeah, Mookie, 40 home run season, over 300 batting average, over 1,000 OPS. It's that or the 60 stolen bases, Everett. You tell me which one you think's better. But yeah, it's the Mook, man. It's the Mooker. It's time to go off. But okay. Would you like to break down I mean, you love to dive in to some of the tragic franchises around.
I do.
So I'll let
I
you
do.
I'll
okay, so I texted you this the other day.
Ooh, breaking news. Ben DiNucci has been signed to the Broncos practice squad.
Hey.
Sorry.
I texted you this the other day, and I have not been able to process why. But Lucas Giolito, who they traded for, Hunter Renfroe, who's a starter, Randall Grichuk, Matt Moore, and Ronaldo Lopez have all been placed on waiver by the Los Angeles A's. A's, basically the same. They both start with A. The Los Angeles Angels.
And their logo, it's the A.
So, I don't understand this move at all. They gave up a pitcher who they just traded for and traded multiple assets for. They waived him. Hunter Renfroe, who's a valuable starter rotationary player. Okay. I don't know who the other 3 guys are. I'm not going to cap.
He's Grichuk, another lineup piece. Good name. The other 2 guys are relievers.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But
not
like
the last 2, not that big.
If you're
the prospects for Giolito, and not even a month later he's gone.
I know that it's the I guess the deadline is passed, and maybe they're trying to clear up space to re-sign Shohei.
So for the Angels, by releasing these players, they freed up, I believe, $7 million in cap space for next season. And also September call-ups are this week. It's August 30th when we're recording this. So September call-ups, minor league seasons are wrapping up. So for the most part, you can add 2 players, go from 26 to 28. For the Angels now, they can, instead of adding 2 players, now they can add 7 prospects up. None of them ranked in the top 100. So it's not like it's going to be that crazy. But hey, like, in theory, if you're a struggling team, screw it. give the prospects more playing time. It also doesn't count towards their MLB service, and it doesn't count toward their 3 options.
See, I get that. So, I understand that. But let's look at it from the Angels' perspective, okay? They're trying to re-sign Shohei, which, by the way, they didn't need to release people to share that cap, to free that cap, because his market has decreased substantially with his UCL injury. But to lose all of your, put so much eggs into the basket of Lucas Giolito just to release him, like, that doesn't make sense to me. Wait, at least wait until you can trade him again. I know he hasn't had a good season since he came to the Angels.
He was gone. He was gone. He was on a 1. They couldn't have traded him.
Oh, he was on 1 year. Oh, okay. Never mind then. Hunter Renfroe, I don't know. Was he on a 1 year?
No, sure him and Grichuk were both on 1 years. And like Crone is still there. Like I think he has like 2 more years or something.
They traded for CJ Crone.
Yeah, they have Crone too. But like Matt Moore and the other guy, I believe they were on multiple year deals and they weren't good anyway. So they were just like, screw it. Just cut them. The thing about the Angels, though, is that what this is kind of showing me, I mean, Trout's out for the year. Ohtani's not pitching anymore. Pretty sure Angels have essentially been eliminated from playoff contention, currently 4th in the AL West right now. 6 games below 500. So, yeah, they're out of the playoffs. It's completely done for them. Hindsight's 2020. Like, they should have traded.
So, let's ask this question, actually. This is the most...
trade Trout?
Well, that was not the question I was going to ask.
Yeah, that's where I went. But
my question was, and by the way, they should trade Trout. But my question was going to be, if you're Shohei Ohtani, right? You know you have the UCL injury, right? And you see this, you've had all this shit happen with the Angels the entire time you've been on the team. Let's say the Angels give you the biggest offer out of every team.
Yeah.
Would you rather take a pay cut? Would you rather take a pay cut to go to a different team or stay on the Angels? More money.
Pay cut. So I'm saying I could see the Angels giving him $450.
Let's say 10%.
Like, so the Dodgers would give 90% of that, 405?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, he's going to LA.
They're both in LA. They're both in LA.
Dodgers.
There you go.
My bad. No, the contender. It like this. I said, like, if the Angels offer is like $100 million plus more than the next biggest, obviously he's going to the Angels. We'll see what happens. This is what I think, though. Like, Shohei,
but it's the question.
Say this, but let's say he is done pitching. He needs to play left field. I'll give him 400. If you're DHing, I'm not sure if I'm going to give you 400. To be a DH,
so you're saying he's DHing and pitching, solo DHing, like what?
I'm saying I'm assuming he's done pitching. Okay. I would give him $400 million to be my everyday left fielder. I don't think I'd give him $400 million to be my everyday DH.
No.
Yeah.
But I think that if any team signs him, though, and he can't pitch, the assumption is he's going to play outfield.
Also, another thing, next season, I mean, you said, like, he can't play outfield next year. Like, Bryce Harper had Tommy John, like, last season. Like, he's only bad at, like, Shohei's just going to be a DH for next season. But I'm saying 2 years from now, if you could play left.
And the thing is, like, I guess the reason why he's still playing right now is for the MVP. Like, that would be the only reason. So,
but I mean,
he's chasing the record.
In the MLB.
He is chasing the home run record still, technically.
And like, even regardless, he is a better hitter.
Yeah, no, but I was just thinking about it. If you're Shohei, right, would you rather get the UCL surgery out of the way so your recovery is faster? But
well, he can. Like, you explain this one to me, but Dustin May and Walker both had forearm strain and how to get TJ, and he literally tore his UCL and might not need it. So makes no sense.
It's the muscle. So forearm, when you go like this, right? When you're pitching with the forearm, your muscle. I'm getting to really some science. The UCL is just in here. Yeah. But a UCL is not as like significant as having like shit in your forearm. Your forearm, you physically can't release things when you pitch.
The one thing I really don't get is that forearm strain and torn UCL is Tommy John.
Yes, but the difference is when you pitch and you're coming around, right? you have more than just one thing in your elbow. So you can, it's going to suck, but you can throw the ball. You're not going to throw it well, but I mean, you can throw it.
It just fascinated me that he had a torn UCL, might not need surgery, forearm strain.
He will need surgery, but that's not here nor there.
Regardless, like, I mean, Shohei, after seeing World Baseball Classic, like how much that
let's
like he wants to win.
Yeah, let's talk about the
Jonathan Taylor.
Let's talk about the real NFL or not NFL MLB team here. We can get a little bit into Mookie a little bit more if we wanted to, but
yeah, we're okay. I don't want to jinx it. I'm just gonna shut up.
Yeah, but what I'm gonna say right now is Grant has entered the part of the season for the Dodgers where he's now hopeful and cheering again.
Really optimistic.
When that happens, bad things occur. Because when you're thinking like that, the team is definitely thinking better.
I want to slightly push back because at one point in June or July this year, when both of us were both extremely down on the team, there was at one point where I was like, hey, at the end of the day, we still have a top 3 farm system. We're still 2 games out of first place. At least we're not the Mets. And once I started, trying to get an optimistic outlook of the team, then they started winning. And Lance Lynn happened. Syndergaard was recently DFA'd by the Guardians. Rosario still hitting for those deadline moves. Although they weren't big names, they worked out. And shit, who knows? Maybe Lucas Giolito will be a Dodger tomorrow. He's probably going to sign with San Diego. Just going to let you know that now. Just going to brace you right now.
That's okay.
But
it's going to make no impact.
San Diego's not a threat. So it's
they are the furthest thing.
But I just wanted to point out we're probably not going to get him. But
I honestly I don't want him.
Yeah,
I don't. Okay. I would rather not have him.
Easy to say.
I would rather not have him.
College football time?
College football time.
All right, I want to hear your opinion on this as an outsider. Ohio State quarterback battle. Kyle McCord has been named the starter for week 1 against Indiana. Aliens are here? They are here? What just happened? I'm lost. Is this a me thing? Did I mess up? Like, can you not hear me or what? All right, ladies and gentlemen, while Everett is trying to fix this, I'll give the Ohio State of the Union. So this season got high expectations for the Buckeyes. Okay. Starting off the season, nice and easy. Okay. Indiana on the road, week 1 in Bloomington, not too much of a threat. Week 2, Youngstown State, Jim Tressel, the prodigal son, returns home. We'll have a quick little win there. And week 3, I don't know who we're playing, but I do know that it is cupcake number 3. So we're going to start off 3-0. Week 4 is where we'll find everything out. Okay. Week 4 for the casual, I was about to say Ohio State fan, the casual college football fan. Week 4 is going to be the first time you're watching Ohio State in action going up against Notre Dame in South Bend. So that's the game I got my calendar circled. Everything points to week 4. That game will be in South Bend. Kyle McCord, as of now, looking to start that game, I guess. So if you are an Ohio State fan right now and that just offended you, me saying Kyle McCord will probably start that Notre Dame game, click off the video right now. Okay. Kyle McCord versus Devin Brown. One thing that I really don't understand why so many Ohio State fans are riled up about this is that we don't really know anything about either quarterback. Okay. It's not like if Ryan Day starts CJ Stroud over Justin Fields in 2020. Okay. It's not like we have a surefire guy in Devin Brown and Kyle McCord, there's question marks. Okay. So that's not like a guarantee or a
okay. Sorry.
Oh, holy shit, you're back. Oh shit, you're back. Wow.
Yeah.
I just got a lot of Ohio State of the Union out.
That's fine. I hope the Ohio State fans are happy.
Well, currently I'm actually in a debate with all the Devin Brown lovers right now. So if you could just give me a couple.
Oh yeah, seconds. My bad.
Going back to that debate, Kyle McCord versus Devin Brown. We don't know that Devin Brown's going to become a stud or a star.
Got the siren going.
However, Everett, I just want to say, I literally feel like we're at the point that the Ohio State fans that want Devin Brown to start are literally hoping that Kyle McCord stays and that Devin Brown leaves and transfers and goes to LSU and becomes the next Joe Burrow. Like they're at this point just hating on Kyle McCord so hard that they just want to see him fail, which makes no sense to me. This is our quarterback, guys. And it's not like Kyle McCord is a scrub, okay? He was a borderline 5-star, okay? Like number 40 player in the class. If you want to go check it up, now we know how good Marv is. Marv wasn't top 100 in the class, and McCord was like 40th. So if we're going off the high school rankings, which Ohio State fans also have their titties in a twist over every time we lose a recruit, me included. But if we're going to go off the high school recruiting, then Kyle McCord should start. He's ranked higher than Devin Brown. So, everything, it makes no sense. Also, I mean, Ryan Day's system, it's been pocket passers. Like what I understand, CJ, we saw what he did against Georgia, and we want to see our quarterbacks run. But like at the end of the day, you got to be throwing dimes. Like that's how the offense operates. So yeah, those are my 2 cents. But top 10 college football D lines.
Yeah, just before I just need to explain to everybody what the hell just happened.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck just happened.
For whatever reason, if I touch my microphone, like I'll come across my hand will accidentally like touch the bottom or something. The whole thing, even though it stays on, disconnects. And for whatever reason, when I touched it this time, it was on, but it disconnected from our recording. So I couldn't hear anything. The microphone wasn't on. I kept unplugging it, replugging it, starting it, and it just would not work for whatever reason. Okay. So I'm going to have to talk to the unnamed intern about that one. He supplied the microphone. So
yeah, well, I mean, he's sitting in the giant, massive database tech room right behind you, behind that door. So, I mean, you could just go knock on that right now, let him know. But okay.
I'll send him a text.
Top 10 college football defensive lines. I'm kind of disappointed in myself for not putting this out earlier, but all right, it's time to do it. Depending on who you think is the number 1 defensive line in college football will determine if I go 1 to 10 or 10 to 1. So, Everett, who is the best defensive line in college football?
Bama.
Okay, 10 to 1. Okay. Miami, Clemson, Penn State, LSU, Illinois, Alabama, Florida State, Michigan, Ohio State, and Georgia. So, I mean, Georgia.
I don't know who Georgia has this year.
Waves of 5-star, just waves of them. It's last year.
I am kind of surprised based on what you've also, because I mean, like out of the two of us, I follow college football, but I don't follow massive programs. Like I know surface level offensive stuff about massive programs, but not typically defensive.
You're not sitting there staying up at night over a 4-star that committed to Michigan.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about I'm more conservative about the green wave. But
the Vikings, a lot of shit going on.
The Vikings, you could ask me something about our 4th string tackle, and I'll be able to tell you something about them.
But for college football, you get a pass.
I'm kind of surprised that Bama was ranked lower. Just because when you've talked to me about Bama, you've always been like, for the season they have their D line is disgusting.
They got waves too. It's just unproven guys, all 5 stars, all big names. Now Dallas Turner coming off the edge. That's a name that, come draft time, you'll be talking a lot about. Projected to go top 10 right now. He's obviously amazing. Kool-Aid, they have him in the secondary. I'm not entirely sure if Caleb Downs is starting this year, but that's a man that will haunt me for the rest of my life, that he picked Bama over Ohio State. So Bama, their defense, I expect a massive jump up from last year. Okay. And probably at the end of the season, you'll see Bama in the top 2 for this list. However, right now coming into the season, there are some question marks just in terms of production. Now, last year, I believe Bama was 2nd in the SEC in sacks. They lose Will Anderson. Of course, that's a big name you got to fill, but I think they do have the names to fill that with Dallas Turner. So yeah, still have Bama at 5. I got Florida State just a notch above. Jared Verse, just a little more sound in my opinion, a little bit better of a pass rusher, a little more complete package. And I love Florida State's interior D lineman. Michigan, I forget his name, and I will not bring up his name, but they got a pretty nice D tackle over there. I think he was top 3 in the country on run defense. And then Ohio State, JT Tuimoloau, Jack Sawyer, both top 3 players in their class. Mike Hall, Tyleik Williams. I think this team can have the best defensive line in the country when it's all said and done. We'll see We'll see how Kenyatta Jackson, Caden Curry can come along. We'll see how we rotate in Hamilton. Maybe even Hero Canoe might get a couple of snaps. We'll see. But yeah, those are my top 10 defense lines college football. All right, Everett. Time for the NFL. This one
my time to shine. Actually, no, there is one thing. I have one thing for the NBA. Somehow I have one thing for the NBA. Yeah. I pulled a rabbit out of a hat today. Hell? I pulled a rabbit out of the hat today.
That was not on the itinerary.
Morning, okay. No, it was not. That's why this was from 5 hours ago. All right. It was not this morning. Not morning for me. All right. So if we remember back to the playoffs, okay. You remember how there was one referee that had like a burner Twitter account? Everybody was talking about.
Could I forget him?
Right.
The one, the only Eric Lewis.
Yeah. Eric Lewis has officially retired. This is after an NBA investigation into the alleged use.
Official statement made by the NBA.
Yeah.
NBA referee Eric Lewis has informed the league office that he is retiring effective immediately. In light of his decision, the NBA's investigation into social media activity has been closed.
Yeah, so he 100% had a burner account. 100%.
We knew that. We already caught him in 4K multiple times. Like
he's the Celtics fan, right?
Yeah, he's the one. His entire
he's
family
also
is
he's also
Celtics
the one where the
Celtics
when he's reffing are like 29 and 3.
Like 28 and 2 or 29 and 1.
So what's worse? Is that worse? Is Tim Donaghy? Which one is worse? In the modern era.
I would say it's the Tim Donaghy because he was literally betting on the games. And
even though he says that, you know, he wasn't trying to do anything bad, but
Roy Johnson. But no, for real, like the Eric Lewis, it just pissed me off because like it was playoff games. Like he cannot be reffing Celtics playoff games. Like that's where I was like,
wasn't it in the conference finals?
I believe. I actually think it was early. I think it might have been the opening round of the playoffs.
No, like it came out. It came out the opening round, but I think it was one game the next round.
Maybe.
I don't remember well enough.
I could have sworn something happened. Every call went toward the Celtics down the stretch. Everyone on Twitter after was just flaming him, and the NBA, I guess suspended him for the rest of the playoffs from reffing. That Scott Foster had a lot of minutes last NBA playoff.
Yeah, he really came in to close. He really was the closer.
But
okay, now to the NFL.
I mean, that was a good update. That was a good update. We needed that.
All right, I got a couple things for the NFL before we get into Jonathan Taylor, because I know that's your major point for the day. First thing that I just want to mention, and you'll find this funny, I'm sure you've seen it. The Saints have a new punter, all right? Saints have a new punter. Their punter is a 30-year-old UDFA out of Australia who has a tattoo parlor, in Bali, worked as a scaffolder, punted at City College in San Francisco, and then finally in the University of Miami. He has his whole body is tattooed.
Hard worker,
I guess.
Expressive. This could be the next
he also has a mullet.
Good. Little Quinn Ewers action. I like it. So I just want to say, I believe we actually had Quan and Shay talking about Aussie punters themselves and how I believe is it UCF or Houston who has a lefty and a righty? Which school was it? I remember they were bringing up one school in the AAC had a lefty and a righty.
Yeah, I do remember this. I think it was
the actual fuck.
I think it was UCF.
I want to say UCF or Houston, but regardless, Aussie punters have become a real big thing. In a way, with the Aussie punters having them roll out, you essentially create hang time by holding the blocks a little bit longer, and you allow your gunners to run downfield. So, like, if you can block it, like, hell yeah, do the Aussie punting. And we've seen a little bit of that get over to the NFL. Cameron Johnson, he had his time over there. Like, I'm trying to think any other Aussie punters. Can you think of any Aussie punters in the NFL, right? Like, I don't know. In terms of big name punters, Brad Wing, Marquette King, Johnny Hecker.
Is Matt Hawk or no? Who's Michael Dixon? Michael Dixon.
Pat McAfee. My apologies.
Michael Dixon, I think, is a Aussie punter.
Michael Dixon,
the Seahawks punter.
I was gonna act like I knew that is maybe. Anyway, Aussie is not the biggest thing, but this guy's 30 years old. That's the point I want to get at. So currently, Ohio State's active punter right now, Everett, I believe it's his second year on the team. He's an Aussie punter. Guess how old he is?
Second year on the team. Aussie
second
punter.
Year on the team,
32.
Aussie punter. Whoa. Not that old, but
yeah.
He's 27. He's 27 right now. Jesse Mirko, remember the name, in 3 years, he might be an undrafted.
Hey, you never know, all right? You never know. There's an Aussie punter on the Saints right now who's 30, all right? They seem to be older sometimes, okay? So I just,
I had Cameron Johnson, my guy. Eagles for a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was interesting.
We just had a trade go through in our league.
I know one man who I'm gonna guess that was me. Okay, let's find out. Let's see how I react to this Jonathan Taylor news now. Let's see. All right. Okay. Jonathan Taylor, I fucking hate you and everything you do. Okay. Jonathan
Taylor. Okay, no. Before Jonathan Taylor.
Essentially, what it was essentially just the biggest slap in the face I just saw. What the fuck? I don't even know who those players are. Okay.
Yeah, you do.
Jonathan Taylor.
No. Before Jonathan Taylor, there's something arguably better.
Mac Jones is the only quarterback on the Pats.
There's that, but something arguably better than that.
Josh Dobbs is QB1 in Arizona?
Yeah, he's also who I traded. Something's better than that.
Tom Brady will be the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots.
Better than that.
Jackson
Steve
Smith
Wilkes
and Jigba will start Steve 1.
No, not better than that. Steve Wilkes has testified that the Cardinals gave him a burner phone to communicate with their former GM, Steve Keim, during Keim's suspension. So,
see like there might be a rule broken there. Maybe
that seems like
they got a burner phone for it. Seems like they might have assumed that.
So here's my question: how I know Steve Keim got fired and everything in the end, right? But how do you have a team implode so badly when your GM? Actually, no, that answers itself. The GM gave him a burner phone to run the team through him when the fucking assistant GM was supposed to be running it. That explains why the team imploded. You know what? I don't even have to ask a question about that.
Okay.
But that is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Only the Arizona Cardinals and maybe the Los Angeles Angels.
Yeah, I mean, seeing that video of like Jonathan Gannon meeting the players, it's just like, oh man, this is like
he's like if Mark Zuckerberg was a head coach.
Like when we made that hot seat list, we were both like, oh, we can't put first guys on there. It's like, no, Jonathan Gannon's on there. No,
he actually might. Dude, if I was the owner of the Cardinals, I would look at him assuming they're going to lose like every game this year, right? I'm going to look at him and be like, do I want that guy coaching Caleb Williams and maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. for 14 years? No, I do not. Give me any other dude.
Not. Yeah, I mean, one thing that
it's like Adam Gase, dude. He's like Adam Gase. That's exactly what he is.
Crazy eyes, Adam Gase. But
oh my god,
yeah.
Who thought this was a good idea? Like
somebody said yes.
Watch him end up actually winning like 6 games this year.
Really funny. Like I'm trying to think. Last year, I don't remember what was like the unanimous worst team in the NFL. I think it actually was the Bears, and that ended up coming to fruition. Correct, or am I wrong? Was it the Jags? No, Bears were projected lower than the Jags. Oh yeah, they were.
Maybe the Jets.
Pretty low.
I don't think so.
Actually, maybe not the worst. Jets are definitely lower.
It could have been the Texans too, by the way.
Very, very possible too.
Very likely.
Very possible too. So, but this year we're kind of all saying Cardinals, a little bit of Rams maybe in there a little bit, like Bears, someone in the NFC South, whoever the worst team in the NFC South is, probably the Bucks.
But, yeah. I mean, that's who I have being the worst team in the league.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see who ends up actually getting your boy Caleb Williams. But okay, all right, time to talk about this piece of shit. All right, Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor was not traded before the 53-man roster deadline and will at least miss the first 4 games of the season on the PUP list. For him to return and be activated off the PUP list, he needs to pass a physical, which
will not happen.
As a Jonathan Taylor dynasty owner, part of me just feels like he may never take that physical. He may just never do it ever. So, in my opinion, from a Jonathan Taylor perspective, I might be holding out until week 9 deadline. If praying they trade you, and if they don't,
well, yeah. Also,
well, this is the thing. There's many things in place. The way his contract works, Jonathan Taylor, I believe, needs to play in 6 games this upcoming season to keep his free agency status for next year. Now, we could wait till week 9. He could do 10 through 17, which I believe they have a bye week in there. So that would be 6 games. We'll see. Or 7 games. My bad. Bad math there. We'll see what Taylor ends up doing. If Taylor, his ultimate goal is to become a free agent. That's his ultimate goal here. He wants to hit the market, and he believes he's worth, I read this, $14 to $15 million per year.
My God.
Now, when we look at what Saquon did and Josh Jacobs did, essentially what they both did by not signing the franchise tag and getting 1-year deals is they added about an extra $900K, $500K extra million onto their salary for the season, which means for those teams to keep them not this upcoming season, the season after, their franchise tag value will be increased because it's based on the previous contract. So Saquon and Josh Jacobs, like, they know they're not ever going to get a 2+ year deal with guarantee money. They know that's never going to happen. So they're trying to get the highest or most valuable 1-year deals, so that franchise tag, if you tag me next year, I'm getting paid a lot of money. And franchise tags are fully guaranteed. So
yes,
those are applied to salary caps.
What the 2 biggest things of this, and this is my are the trades. All right, the prospective trades for JT that could have happened, and there's one in specific.
Start from the Colts perspective or the other team's perspective?
Well, this one, I want your perspective. All right, this is the one we're going to start on.
The most important one.
Yeah. So you are a dynasty Jonathan Taylor owner. Let's preface this. If you have not seen our draft, all right, God bless you, but it's 3 hours long. You can go click through it on our YouTube page.
We should retitle that Moron Drafts Jonathan Taylor First and Dynasty.
That might do better, honestly.
100%.
100. That maybe I gotta title this one that be Moron Drafted Jonathan Taylor 1.
I'd be okay with it.
But Grant drafted Jonathan Taylor with the first
overall pick.
It was an auction draft, but he bid like $39. For reference, I'm pretty sure Garrett Wilson went for less.
No. He went for 45.
Okay, for $7, $6 more.
Chubb and McCaffrey both went for over 50. In theory, for the RB value, I mean, a fucking steal. But in hindsight,
you also are a Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon dynasty owner.
That would be the worst case scenario.
This trade that prospectively could have happened would have sent Jonathan Taylor to the Packers. Now, we don't know what the value would have been. We don't know who they would have gotten. I assume they probably would have gotten like Aaron Jones or somebody back. But
at minimum, Dillon. At minimum.
Yeah, at minimum. You know? But for you, I was sitting here, and obviously we don't know what the value is, but let's just say at least one of those RBs stays on the Packers, or both of them do. That would quite literally would have ended your contenders, not fully ended it, but like you would not be in the chip.
Serious jeopardy, and now I'm on the phone.
Yeah, no, the line is ringing.
Let's just say right now, I mean, we don't look into those projections. For me, I'm not like too concerned, and if I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna hold this grenade that is Jonathan Taylor. And
you're in a Notre Dame right now. Is the stance we're at?
But I'm in win now mode. I'm the top dog in the league for this season. And you know what? Other people in the league are starting to realize that, and they're saying, "Hey, you want to win? Just give me Jonathan Taylor. I'll help you win." And it's making me think twice because I think I might be still a bit of one, but no one cares about the fantasy team. Jonathan Taylor's perspective.
Yeah. Now the other trade.
He needs to get those 6 games in. Okay. So Jonathan Taylor, I was going into this perspective that Jonathan Taylor will play this year. So from Jonathan Taylor, trust me, I'm going to get to the Colts. And I know that you wanted to frame this about the Packers, but
no. I was getting to the next trade. That's what I was doing. Okay. I was getting to the more important trade.
From the Colts perspective now, Jonathan Taylor, okay? You're not going to re-sign him. Jay Irsay said, if I die today and Jonathan Taylor dies today, no one will remember us and no one will care, okay? So Jay Irsay went out and said, I am not paying Jonathan Taylor that money. So he said that. He pretty much was saying, I don't think Jonathan Taylor is that valuable. Don't think he's worth the long-term contract. Immediately afterwards, it came out that the Colts will not trade Jonathan Taylor unless they receive first-round draft pick compensation, which they are literally saying that they think Jonathan Taylor is really valuable to their team because they need a first-round pick. So hypocritical statements right there, okay? Hypocritical statements that don't make sense. Second thing, though, now, as a dynasty owner, this really pains me more, but why would you keep Jonathan Taylor on the PUP list? Why would you not activate him immediately? So let's say this. Let's say Jonathan Taylor does pull an Andrew Luck or Le'Veon Bell and just sits out the year and says, I will never play for the Indianapolis Colts again. And shit, the Colts might be really thinking about that after seeing what Andrew Luck did. So that might actually like be a big concern to them that he might just walk. From Jonathan Taylor's side, probably wouldn't do that. Only has $6 million in career earnings, so probably won't. But they might. The Colts might just be that afraid. From that point of view, though, let's say you want to trade Jonathan Taylor. Okay, from that point of view, you want to trade Jonathan Taylor. You want to do it by week 9. Why would you not activate him week 1? Try to get him playing well.
Okay. There's a couple parts to this. One, we are assuming he's not actually hurt. All right. It's a very small possibility. I think he's still a little hurt, but it's a very small possibility that he's hurt enough where he should be on the PUP list. But we're assuming that the reason he's on the PUP list is just because of the disgruntled nature of the whole thing. All right. Yeah. So let's just assume that that's the case. It's not like he's actually injured. All right. For me, and I'm looking at this, if I'm Jim Irsay, right? If I'm the contract stat, right? I think there's probably incentives in his contract where if he hits them or something like that, he'll make more money, and they're trying to mitigate that. Also, with him being on the PUP list, it's not up to him whether or not he gets pulled off the PUP list. So if they really want to be like, hey,
no, I know, but I'm saying just from the Colts perspective.
I mean, yeah, if on there. Well, here's the deal. If you wanted to win, all right, take him off. Okay. But there's a couple of problems right now with that. Is one, he doesn't want to play for them. Jim Irsay doesn't want him playing for them. All right, at that point.
Well, I think Jim Irsay does want Jonathan Taylor playing for them, but just on 1-year deals. That
they want to Kirk Cousins him. That doesn't fly. All right. But the bigger thing though is with the contract and the way things are distributed. If they keep him on the PUP list the whole year, so it's the incentive of, all right, he's healthy now. We can trade him, like whatever with that. His contract gets deferred technically, and you don't owe him as much money. That's kind of the ideology that I have.
Okay, but I mean, let's say Jonathan Taylor, they don't trade him. They leave him on PUP. They don't activate him. Jonathan Taylor doesn't play 6 games.
If he's left on the PUP
he will never walk in the fucking building ever again.
If he is left on the PUP for more than half the season, it's either he actually is hurt.
Yes, which
or
could be true.
or Jim Irsay hates him that much.
Truly hates him so much and just wants him to retire.
So I can't have him. Nobody can.
But this is another thing. Like, let's say Colts, they're playing. Jonathan Taylor is not going to keep signing your 1-year deals. Okay. Like, he's got, like, from that perspective, shit, I don't know what was on the table, but if they could have gotten a second from Green
Bay, but hold on. All right. Let's get into the bigger trade of the two, because you cut me off before I got into it after the Packers. You just started riffing on stuff. You didn't let me explain it. This is the one that actually is bad. All right. So Dolphins were in contention for Jonathan Taylor. All right. You would have been over the moon. Taylor. You would have been over the moon. All right. If this happened.
Oh my God. Holy shit.
The issue, one, the Colts, Jim Irsay has publicly stated he does not give a shit about Jonathan Taylor. He doesn't care, but he wants the value back. Sure, but they don't want to pay him. They don't give a shit about it. Like, nobody would care if he retired, right? That's been publicly stated.
His word.
So now,
well, if he died, no one would.
Yeah. Now the Colts want to trade him, with other teams knowing that's how they value him and expect them to pay up X amount, like first round picks, X amount of players, right? Well, the Colts asked the Dolphins for Jalen Waddle and they would
Waddle in a second for Jonathan Taylor.
Was it Waddle in a second, or they give JT a third for Waddle?
I believe it was Waddle.
Waddle in a second for Jonathan Taylor. I didn't realize that this was the Tony Dorsett, Emmitt Smith trade.
Yeah, it's just like when you counter their trade, like second round pick, it might have been like a second and a sixth.
I honestly think
and the second for him.
That's worse than the person who tries to trape everybody every year in fantasy football.
No, I was gonna compare it.
Like that is worse than that guy who offers you 3 shit players for the best player on your team.
It's just like clearly the Colts do value Jonathan. Like clearly they do, but they don't want to pay him, you know? So yeah, I mean, Jonathan Taylor right now, hey, tell me what you think. I can't really give an honest opinion on it. Do you think he'll be traded by week 9?
I think it's one of two things happen now. I think one,
he gets traded or not.
He gets traded, or two, he personally chooses just to sit out. Even if he gets pulled off the pup, he just sits.
Yeah, I mean, which is very possible.
One way or the other, he is not playing. One way or the other, he will not play another down for the Colts.
Ooh, okay. Now that I'm not entirely ready to stamp my opinion on.
I think the only way that happens is if he gets the contract he wants.
I have an idea. Jonathan Taylor's side now. Now he needs to play 6 games to have his free agent status and be a fully unrestricted free agent. So he needs to play in 6 games. If I'm Jonathan Taylor, I am going weeks 5. I'm playing weeks 5 through 9, going up to the deadline. And if they don't trade me, I'll play week 10, I'll play week 11, and I'll sit out the rest of the year. I'm still a free agent. I win. I don't need to report anymore. Sure, I won't make I don't know. At that point in the season, I believe he has like an $8 million total value contract, second round pick. So let's say it's like a $2 million salary. So he's given up like half of it. And I honestly can see Jonathan Taylor being petty enough to just be like, yeah. Now, from a dynasty owner perspective, I'd hate that because I need him for these fantasy playoffs. So I wouldn't like that. But I think,
look, we'll put this for you.
That's the only leverage
for you. Jonathan Taylor is not going to be substantial for you.
No, dead to me. Yeah. Dead to me. Absolutely dead to me. Once again, everything that I just said, you got to take with a grain of salt. I'm so rattled and just all over the place that it's like this from a Jonathan Taylor dynasty owner who took him first in the draft. So got to keep that in mind. But
yeah, also just want to say I was the person who proposed him as the first overall pick. So you're welcome for that.
In a perfect world, I went back, watched tape. Guess what that bidding war was down to for Jonathan Taylor? me and guess who the other person was?
Gosh. Or Ned. Sam.
Oh, so damn, that would have been really good for me and you. That would have been really good for me.
Yeah, that would have been fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. All right. We're gonna wrap the episode after this. But top 10 quarterbacks entering the 2023 NFL season, which starts in a little bit over a week, literally a week and 1 day from today. It will be a week from today when this comes out. All right. Next week's going to be a fun one for us. We'll have an episode coming out on inaugural start day for the NFL, and we'll be having a very special episode or upload with a very special guest. But anyways, top 10 quarterbacks for the NFL season this year. 10 to 1 or 1 to 10? 10 to 1?
1 to 10. Let's get those Eagles fans in the comments quicker.
All right. Okay.
Because we all know 1.
Yeah, Josh
Matt
Dobbs.
Corral. Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah. Good answer.
Okay. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Trevor Lawrence, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, and Jared Goff. So, any quarterback that's kind of on that border there that should be considered in the top 10 that wasn't mentioned?
Do we got some subjective opinions there? Of course we do.
Yeah, but do you personally think there's anybody?
You were. Oh, I thought
I'm asking you. No. I'm asking you.
Okay.
I'm asking you.
Usually after you give a list, you immediately have some shit you gotta say, like, to anyone out there who says okay.
Yeah, no, I'll get there, but I'm asking you first, and I'm gonna
No, I think that is a good list. Like,
yeah, no,
I had Gino in my one the other time. I just want to give him some.
I'm gonna hear shit. I'm gonna hear shit for Kirk Cousins being on there, who, by the way, deserves to be on there. I'm gonna hear shit for Jared Goff to be on there, who also, by the way, deserves to be on there.
I don't think you will get.
No, I think I'm gonna get shit just because the fact that it's Jared Goff. It's his name is Jared Goff. Jared Goff could be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, and somebody's still gonna be like, dude, it's Jared Goff. Like,
it's just the name.
Aaron Rodgers, I think, is interesting at 9. I think there's a little bit of overhype there. It's a little bit overhyped. Just the fact that he's on the Jets now with that team. I think if he was on the Packers still, he probably would be back outside of it. But okay. Trevor Lawrence above Kirk Cousins is going to be an interesting one. I'm going to see how Vikings fans react to that one. I'm going to be assuming that it's not great, but I just think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a better quarterback this year. Kirk Cousins is going to be fucking disgusting.
Defend their guy, but I just want if the Vikings offense had a Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Wow.
But outside of that, I think 5 and 6, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, interchangeable. I think Josh Allen technically is better than Jalen Hurts, even though Jalen Hurts went further. Josh Allen makes his mistakes. We know everybody who listens to this podcast, watches this podcast, knows my biggest knock on Josh Allen is his decision making. I think is absolutely fucking deplorable. But this doesn't mean that he's not a top quarterback. Joe Burrow, great. Patrick Mahomes, obviously the fucking GOAT right now. So that's that. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening, rate us 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram at WaterboyPod. Make sure to follow me and Grant on Twitter at Everett Takes and at WaterboyGrant. Stay tuned for new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday, especially next week, where we'll be having special content for college football, special guest interview, and the NFL start on Thursday. Make sure to tune into Tulane this weekend, playing USA, University of South Alabama, Saturday night. Don't want to miss that one. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. At home.
Home opener?
Yep, you can catch me live on television, straight in your face.
And a little birdie told me that we might have our new sideline Hawkman for the Tulane Green Wave. So, didn't want to leak anything.
But with that, Waterboy's out.